Nigeria, this is News Central. I'm Felicity Ezewike. The top stories tonight. Governor Monday Okpeholo on condolence visit to Kano State as Chief of Defense Staff launches manhunt for killers of travelers in Edo State. One person killed in Abuja community following attack by suspected headers. French far-right leader Marine Le Pen convicted for embezzlement, barred from running for public office for 5 years.
In business, Nigeria's net foreign exchange inflow surges, reaches $17.39 billion in fourth quarter of 2024.
And in sports, Nigerian Boxing Board of Control pays condolence visit to family of late boxer Segun Olanrewaju, who died in Ghana during a bout on Saturday. Details in a moment.
Tonight begins now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike again. Edo State Governor, I beg your pardon, Monday Okpeholo, is in Kano State on a condolence visit to the government and people following the gruesome killing of 16 travelers from the state who were brutally burnt alive in Uromi community. The victims, some of whom hailed from Bankure local government area of Kano State, were reportedly on their way to celebrate Salah when the tragic incident occurred. During his visit, Okpeholo met with Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State and extended his heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families and the people of Kano State, while he described the attack as unfortunate and condemnable. Governor Okpeholo assured them that justice will be served.
We have so far arrested about 14 people in connection of the killings of these people. The Inspector General have directed the DIG, CID at the force headquarters, Abuja, to take over the investigation. Because of the holiday, these people, after the holiday, these people will be transferred to Abuja for further interrogation and more arrests will be made.
My prayer on behalf of the families, on behalf of the good people of the state, I know you have started taking action like we said. Many of them were apprehended. We will want to see them physically paraded so that Nigerians and the families could see them to know, yes, they were apprehended. That, Your Excellency, will go a long way in making the families and their own brothers happy.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has condemned the killing of 16 hunters in Edo State, vowing that the perpetrators will be brought to justice. The CDS said that Governor Monday Okpeholo had reached out to the northern governors over the incident, and about 14 suspects have been arrested by the police in connection with the incident. Also, Edo State Governor has extended his felicitations to the Muslim community in the state. The governor was represented by his deputy Denisi Dahosa, who spoke at the government house in Benin City when he received a Muslim community led by the chief imam of Benin Central Mosque, Abdul Fatai Enabulele, on a courtesy visit. Governor Okpeholo urged Muslims to sustain the lessons and virtues learned during the Ramadan, including compassion, tolerance, and unity, and to continue to live in peace and harmony with their fellow citizens of all faiths. He reiterated his administration's commitment to fostering an inclusive and progressive Edo State where religious tolerance and mutual respect thrive.
During this period of that you have fasted for 29 days, and the lessons learned during the fasting and prayers, please, let's continue to tolerate one another. and let there be peace and harmony in Edo State. Having said that, I also want to condemn strongly the actions of our brothers in Uromi. The state governor have instructed all the security agencies to ensure that those that were involved are brought to book. And let me also beg that you will continue to pray for those that lost their life in that process.
Governor demonstrated uncommon leadership in response to what happened in Uromi on Thursday, the 27th of March 2025. He demonstrated.
Dr. Aminu Yahatu is a senior lecturer of political science and international studies at the Bayero University in Kano. Dr. Yahatu undertook research in mob violence in Nigeria and joins us now for some perspective on the matter. Thank you very much for giving us your time. There's been a lot of talk, conspiracy theory and all of that. Talk to us about the simple interpretation that can be given to the cause of mob violence in Edo State and perhaps in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I think it is important to make this clarification from the beginning for our listeners to understand that the Edo incident is not an isolated incident in Nigeria. You know, for over a very long period of time, this menace of mob violence has been happening in different geographical areas of the Nigerian state. And it is not restricted to one particular geographical area. This is a trend that cuts out geographical areas. There is barely no state in Nigeria that has not experienced mob violence or a form of mob justice, you know, due to one reason or the other. And in fact, I had the opportunity to, on behalf of one international organization, lead a team of researchers on this very issue of mob violence. And without, I mean, one of our major findings is that, you know, people are getting to resort to mob violence because of many reasons, one of which is their lack of confidence in the justice system of Nigeria and even in the policing, you know, system of Nigeria. Many have reported that the reason why they take laws into their hands is because they don't get to see that suspects are being prosecuted properly and action taken against, you know, offenders. And this has been, you know, a response across all the areas that we've conducted this research. That is to tell you that part of the reason why the mob violence has actually, you know, endured in Nigeria is because of this lack of public confidence in the police and judicial system. And then another reason is that, you know, people tend to, you know, not be properly educated on the very processes they are expected to follow whenever they encounter such problems. And that calls for a very, you know, wide, you know, appeal and awareness, you know, in public education. So this is the reason. So the case of Edo is actually a pathetic one, and is really something that has, again, you know, served as a wake-up call, you know, for authorities in Nigeria to put in place all the expected mechanisms that are supposed to check the rampant happening of mob violence in Nigeria.
All right,
because
Dr. Hayatu,
the shortcoming of, you know, the placement of police authorities in marketplaces, in motor parks, you know, where it is expected that these things are actually happening.
all right, talk to us about this effort in some quarters to put a correlation between violence and ethnicity and religion, trying to connect it when such incidents occur. Could you disabuse that concept or validate it as something that needs further scrutiny?
You know, initially, the menace of mob violence didn't have this, you know, coloration in terms of ethnicity or religion. But because of the increasing polarization and ethnization and politicization of our issues in Nigeria, you know, some of these cases of mob violence have turned out to be, you know, as a result of this ethnicization or religionization of the issues that arise as a result of mob violence. And, you know, even to the extent that from our findings, you know, this issue of when anything happening, people jump to conclusion to say that certain part of the population are actually targeted specifically because of their reason. And, but in the case of Edo, you know, it has actually got a background, you know, with the way the people think that they have been attacked by the Fulani headsman. But a broader analysis will reveal that there would have been the need for proper investigation, you know, by whoever is there to ensure that really these people are the bandits that they suspect. And even if they are bandits, they are expected to have actually taken, not have taken the law into their hands. They would have actually subjected them to the course of law so that action would be taken against that. And normally, as it was said, that they have presented evidence that they were not bandits. Even the weapons they are carrying are licensed, and they have shown evidence of the license and so on. So, but because of this increasing phenomenon of politicization of everything, then of course we tend to see, you know, the proliferation of, you know, these attacks based on ethnicity or religion or even sectional sentiments and precedents. That's the precedence that has actually taken place long ago, and it is increasingly, you know, becoming a phenomenon in the across the Nigerian state.
All right, talk to us from your studies of ways to address mob violence and you know, its attendant impact. How would you assess the response of the Edo State government and security agencies to this incident, a de-escalating tensions that could have come, or generally overall ensuring that this does not go the other way?
No, I think it is clear to everyone so far that the Edo State government and her mercenaries are really very serious about, you know, taking measures on this incidents that has happened. You know, to the extent that the governor has paid, you know, a visit to the state where most of these, you know, victims came from. And it is evident that they are all on gear to make sure that they do what is necessary. And of course, like I said earlier, from our findings, one of the reasons why these things get escalated is because of the authorities, you know, lack of taking proper measures like, you know, investigation, prosecution, you know, taking proper steps in ensuring that justice is done, you know, to the victims. The victims and, you know, the families of the victims will be convinced, and of course their kinsmen, that justice is served when they see that the government that is responsible to do what it's supposed to do has actually stood up to its responsibility to be able to, you know, get justice for them. And this is very important. That visit is very important. And even the extent to which, you know, we had the governor, you know, mentioning that about 14 people have been apprehended and are going to be subjected to the justice system so that investigations will be properly conducted. And, you know, they are not going to spare anyone who is found, you know, guilty of this offense. And I think this is very important. This will help a long way, you know, in deterring and de-escalating the tendencies for mob violence across Nigeria, because people will know that definitely the authorities will find them wherever they are.
Dr. Yahatu, thank you very much for your input tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's bring you one of our headline stories. One person has been killed at Angwan Hakimi, a satellite community in Abuja, following an attack by suspected headsmen. Residents told News Central that the attack occurred at a boys' brigade camp at the outskirts of the community. The FCT Police Command is yet to react to inquiries about the incident. Coming up, Muslims across Nigeria celebrate Eid al-Fitr for the second day. We'll bring you this story and more after the break. You're watching tonight on News Central. A reminder of our top stories. Governor Mando Okweholo on condolence visit to Kano State as Chief of Defense Staff launches manhunt for killers of travelers in Edo State. One person killed in Abuja community following attack by suspected headers. French far right leader Marine Le Pen convicted for embezzlement, barred from running for public office for 5 years. Now, Muslims continue to gather at various Eid prayer grounds to offer prayers of thanksgiving for the completion of the Ramadan fasting. News Central correspondent Igbalani Omoni was at the Markaz Islamic Center where the Eid prayers were observed.
We're here at the Markaz Mosque in Agege, and as you can see behind me, thousands of Muslims are gathered here to observe the Eid prayers. According to the Sultan of Sokoto, the one was cited on Sunday, the 30th, marking the end of Ramadan, the Islamic holy month of fasting.
Several countries also announced Sunday as Eid al-Fitr, including United Arab Emirates, Kuwait and Qatar, which made major Muslims across the country observe the Eid prayers on Sunday. Muslims at the Arabic and Islamic Training Center in Markaz Agege, Lagos, however, otherwise.
You can see today in Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, Iran, many Muslim countries criticize Saudi Arabia on their decision for declaring yesterday as Eid Mubarak. We are not fighting Sultan of Sokoto of taking his decision for yesterday, end of Ramadan. But Sultan of Sokoto is not an alpha like Mudir Markaz. It's quite different. It's political appointment, I can say it rightly.
United States of America, àwọn náà kírun, àwọn díẹ̀ tó kírun lánàá, but àwọn èèyàn wa wọn kì í farabalẹ̀. Wọ́n bá ti gbọ́ pé àwọn róṣù Saudi, àwọn náà gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe tiwa ń bí, agbọ́dọ̀ róṣù tiwa ń bí báyìí kó tó di pé ní a sọ pé àwẹ̀ tán, and then àwẹ̀ ò tí ì pé 30.
The Eid prayer, also known as Salat al-Eid, is a special congregational prayer performed to mark the occasion.
So we started the Ramadan with Bismillah, and we thank God that we are ending the Ramadan with joy and happiness.
This year is better than last year, and it will continue to be more better and better and better.
Noting that every year the date of Eid changes and there is confusion as to proper date and celebration time till the moon sighting takes place, Muslims faithful call for unity.
Salat is important after Ramadan, and try to give everyone of zakat.
Wọ́n dẹ̀ ń pe gbogbo Mùsùlùmí ká jẹ́ ọ̀kan náà, ká pa ọ̀pọ̀ ká jẹ́ ọ̀kan, ká má ṣe yẹ́lẹyẹ̀lẹ kò dá bẹ́ẹ̀. Ìyẹn náà ni ó fi jẹ́ kí Islam tún máa lọ síwájú.
For now, these faithful are happy to share these moments with their loved ones as they strengthen bonds with family, friends and the community. In Lagos, 4 News Central, Igbalani Omoni.
As the custom is in Nigeria, the day after Eid al-Fitr celebration is marked by festivities and merriment, as families flock to recreation centers to unwind before the holidays come to an end. This year, the usual buzz was noticeably different. Our correspondent Joshua Imarai visited the popular Millennium Park in Abuja to see how families are keeping up with this tradition.
As is tradition on the second day of Eid, Abuja's Millennium Park buzzes with celebration. Yet behind the joy, many families feel the weight of economic challenges. Join us as we speak with Muslim faithful about how their economy is reshaping their Eid experience.
Last year is far better than this year because last year things in the market are not that expensive as they are this time around. And as you can even see from the look of the things going on here, you can see the numbers of people that are out here are not compared to the last year. Last year, everywhere is filled up with people, with families, but now some people are not even having the transport, the means to be here.
Things were a lot easier last time in terms of, the economy compared to this time around. So yeah, I had more fun last time than this time.
Those who managed to visit the park cited inflation and lower purchasing power as the main reasons for the low-key celebration.
The amount one makes is more than last year, but notwithstanding, the value is lower. One may make probably like, let's say if one makes like 250, 300,000 this year, like 50,000 more than last year. Even at that, the value of 250 compared to last year is far, far lower. So no matter how much you make this time around, in terms of value, it's still smaller than what one gets last year.
I remember very vividly that around this time last year, what we were buying for like 10 naira is now like 16, 17, 18 naira, even 20 naira. So there's inflation. The inflation rate for me is even more than what the authorities are even reporting. It's much more than that.
As the holiday comes to an end, the impact of inflation and financial strain on everyday Nigerian is evidently taking its toll on moments meant for relaxation. Despite these challenges, many remain hopeful that economic conditions will improve, allowing families to fully enjoy future celebrations. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarayi.
Still in the spirit of Eid al-Fitr, after 29 days of fasting and spiritual reflection, Muslims in Lagos joined millions of others across the country to celebrate. News Central's Ombolola Ololade visited some fun spots in Lagos to see how Muslims celebrated this year's Eid al-Fitr with friends and family.
After fulfilling the 29 days of obligatory fasting in the holy month of Ramadan, Muslims across the world religiously celebrate Eid al-Fitr, including over 90 million Nigerian Muslims, according to Wikipedia. For the millions of Muslims in Lagos, the joyous occasion to celebrate the culmination of Ramadan remains an exciting moment for them. From serene environment to eateries, cinemas and recreational parks, the Eid al-Fitr holidays provide friends and families the opportunity to gather in such fun places, creating and enjoying memorable experiences.
Actually, I'm not living in Lagos State, I'm living in Ogun State, so I came here with my family for some picnic.
We are here for celebration of Eid al-Fitr celebration. And the Ramadan went very good and everybody was celebrating. We were just eating, dancing, and we went for a prayer in the morning. That was the Eid al-Fitr prayer in the morning around 10 o'clock. And everybody went back and come and eat and rejoice together.
We are in the spirit of Eid. So we are here to marry with ourselves, our long-time friends, my long-time friends, those I've seen in a very long time. So we chose this very moment as an opportunity for us to marry and also to connect within ourselves.
Although grateful for this year's celebration and the opportunity to spend quality time with friends and families, some Muslims share their initial plans for the celebration and how the country's present economic situation had changed their plans.
If the economy was actually better than this, I would have actually loved to travel to my hometown, to visit my grandma and have fun with her, because it's been a while that we saw each other, and I was only opportune to call her and greet her on the phone yesterday. So if the situation was actually better, I and my brothers would have actually traveled to our hometown, catch up with cousins and nieces and everybody, and the fun gets to be more than this.
The economic condition has impacted a lot on the food, the amount of things we can buy and other things like that. So I'm very much sure if not that everything is not how it is, it will have been so easy. We have a lot of things that will have been going on. For example, we have free Eid Fest, whereby you come, you enjoy yourself and do a lot of things. But as it is now, we just have to manage what it is and maintain maintain status quo and just move on with it.
Beyond this year's Eid al-Fitr celebration, Muslims encourage each other to hold on to the essence of Ramadan as a pillar of Islam while looking forward to next year's celebration. In Lagos, for News Central, Omolola Ololade.
Still ahead, military government in Burkina Faso pardons 21 convicted soldiers. Details when we come back. Stay with us. Glad you're still here. Burkina Faso's military government has pardoned and freed 21 soldiers convicted of involvement in the country's failed coup in 2015. 6 officers, including 2 former unit commanders of the former presidential guard, are on the list alongside 15 non-commissioned officers and rank-and-file soldiers. They were convicted at a military tribunal in Ouagadougou in 2019 for harming state security, murder, or treason. 2 generals considered the mastermind of the failed coup were sentenced to 20 and 10 years in prison, respectively. The freed soldiers will rejoin the army, but the decree stipulates that they will not be eligible for compensation or career progression. International journalist Tamsaka Zhou joins me now from the UK to discuss the development in Burkina Faso. Thank you for giving us your time. What is your overview of the military's decision to pardon with these conditions?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Felicity. This, to me, is a very important move that the administration in Ouagadougou has taken. Because what happens in these particular, cases is you have people that are aligned to previous constituencies. So when you look at the likes of Gilbert Diendere and others that were in prison following what happened in 2015, I remember that time very well. They were very close to former President Blaise Compaoré. They were part and parcel of that administration. They were the enforcers. So what they tried to do was to reverse what had happened in 2014 when that uprising happened. So when you pardon people like that, you are carrying favor with the constituency that they represented, that they used to serve. So it's easy to look at these 21, but the implications, the impact, the significance goes beyond the personnel and or the former army officers and their families. It goes to the political effort to reach out to other parts of the country and other political players, especially those that were aligned with the previous administrations from the times of Thomas Sankara and Blaise Compaoré after that. Felicity?
And release of these soldiers may undermine efforts to hold perpetrators accountable for their actions.
One of the schools of thought within the African context, when you look at the new administrations and the new spirits, is to try and undo this idea that every time when an African leader goes out of power, you get a new administration that tries to chase them to their grave. Whether it is through corruption or human rights or whatever other allegations. What tends to happen in other parts of the world, in the West in particular, there is no tendency to pursue or to chase after the leaders when they leave power. So the school of thought that appears to be gaining momentum is to look at what others did when they were in power or when they were running the administration, not with the eyes of trying to hold them back and drag them through the prison system, but to be, in a way that embraces everyone. Because when you do that, you reward good behavior in office. And so most people will likely retire or, just leave power. They don't have to hold on to it. If you have a tendency that has been there in the past in Africa to say, oh, we want to remove this leader from power, and when you leave them from power, we'll drag them through the courts, we will lock them up, then it just means that those people in power will feel that they have to hold on. So they can change the constitution, they can refuse to leave when they lose elections. So it's counterproductive to be chasing people for what they did when they were in office. And that appears especially to be happening or to have been happening in Africa as opposed to other parts of the world.
Let's take one of the conditions that was given, that the freed soldier, though they are allowed to rejoin the army, they are not eligible to compensation or career progression. Is that a caveat that perhaps addresses questions about them posing security risk?
It is twofold. So the first is that when you say to them they have to stay in the army, you are trying to keep them close and keep an eye on them. Because when they are not, you don't know what they're doing. They can leave, they can go abroad. And you really don't know, you have no control at that time. You might, deploy resources to keep them under surveillance, state security, but it is costly and unnecessary. But if they are there within rank and file, you can keep an eye on them and you can control them. But also it is just a message to them to say there are things that they've done in the past. They've gone through the tribunals, they had a conviction, and now they've been given a pardon. But part of that, stretch of the hand of comfort from the President of the Republic is to say, don't ask for too much. Be grateful because now you are able to go home and meet your family. And, people that are in the army are very disciplined in most cases. So they will follow the orders of whoever is their leader at the time.
Dan, thank you very much for speaking with us.
A pleasure.
Another of our headliners tonight, France's far-right leader Marine Le Pen has been barred from running for public office for 5 years after being convicted of embezzlement on Monday. This decision effectively rules her out of the 2027 presidential race unless she successfully appeals the conviction. Meanwhile, prominent European far-right leaders and Elon Musk have expressed support for Le Pen following the French court sentence. A lawyer confirmed that she will appeal the conviction.
Eh bien, d'abord en indiquant que nous allons faire appel, ce qui est le premier point. Le deuxième point, c'est que je suis assez, je le dis lourdement et solennellement, assez consterné de voir que l'un des motifs qui permet pour le tribunal de retenir l'exécution provisoire est l'exercice par Madame Le Pen d'une défense. La présidente a indiqué que parce que Madame Le Pen, comme les autres prévenus, avait exercé les droits de la défense, comme par exemple demander une prescription, ce qui est quand même la base de n'importe quelle défense, de n'importe quel prévenu, eh bien, il y avait un risque de réitération ou de récidive. C'est totalement, absolument incroyable. Il y a une forme de criminalisation de la défense que je trouve, pour ma part, extrêmement scandaleuse.
Business News is next. Joanna is here with the business update for us. We hear there is a forex inflow surge, Joanna.
That's right, and it's exactly what we need. More dollars, it's great for the economy, it's great for the value of the naira. Let's see if we can keep up the momentum in 2025. I'll bring you the details on this after this break.
Business News in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Nigeria's net foreign exchange inflow rose to $17.39 billion in Q4 2024, driven by increased foreign investments, remittances, and export earnings. The Central Bank of Nigeria reported higher net forex inflows, primarily from autonomous sources, reflecting improved liquidity. According to the CBN, total forex inflow increased by 20.62% to $27.81 billion, Autonomous inflow rose significantly by 47.55% to $16.27 billion, while inflows through the CBN fell slightly by 4.05% to $11.54 billion. Finance Minister Wale Edu noted that the increase in foreign reserves with a net inflow of $2.35 billion in November 2024 helped stabilize the naira. The government also achieved its crude oil production target of 2 million barrels per day in 2024, boosting fiscal revenue. The CBN also reported a 130% rise in remittance inflow to $553 million as of July 2024, indicating a significant increase in forex inflow and support for a stable local currency. Investors subscribed to 2.83 trillion naira in federal government bonds in Q1 2025, down from 3.12 trillion naira in the same period of 2024, according to the Debt Management Office. The decline follows a reduction in bond offers as the government adopted a more cautious borrowing approach amid high interest rates. In Q1 2025, the government offered 1.1 trillion naira in bonds, a significant 66.8% decrease from the 3.31 trillion naira offered in Q1 2024. The total amount allotted also fell to 1.94 trillion naira. Despite the lower volume, investor demand remained robust. And in the U.S., all three major stock indexes closed lower. The Dow Jones Industrial Average global equity markets fell sharply, and gold hit a new record high on Monday following U.S. President Donald Trump's comments that tariffs would be imposed on all countries, raising concerns of a global trade war and a potential recession. In the U.S., all three major stock indexes closed lower. The Dow Jones Industrial Average declined 0.11%, the S&P 500 dropped 0.90%, and the Nasdaq Composite fell 2%. Losses were led by consumer discretionary technology and communication service stocks, while energy, consumer staples, utilities, and real estate stocks saw gains. European stocks also tumbled, and gold is also being seen surging. That's it on business tonight. Of course, the markets are closed today and tomorrow, the local bourse that is. I am Joanna Mustafa. Tonight continues with Felicity.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Tunde joins me now for some sports update. Tunde, it's still a headline, the tragic end for the Nigerian boxer in Ghana, right?
Yeah, Gabriel Shegun Laraju, also known as Success, is a boxer that I knew quite well, light heavyweight in Nigeria, died in tragic circumstances, and we're trying to find answers right now. But we do know, as a matter of fact, that there will be an autopsy for his family when they do get to Ghana on Wednesday. Details and more after the break.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Hello and welcome to sports. The Nigerian Boxing Board of Control, led by President Dr. Rafiu Ladipo, today, Monday the 31st of April, paid a condolence visit to the mother of the late boxer, Shegun Success Olarewaju, who tragically died in the ring in Ghana on Saturday, the 29th of March. The visit took place today at our residence in Ota, Ogun State, Nigeria. 40-year-old Olarewaju collapsed in the ring during the third round of his fight light heavyweight clash against Ghana's John Mbanugu in Accra without receiving a punch. After receiving first aid in the ring at the Bukom Boxing Arena, he was rushed to the Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital, where he was pronounced dead 30 minutes after arrival. An autopsy is scheduled for to be performed by Wednesday upon the arrival of his family in Ghana. The Nigerian Boxing Board of Control have maintained that Olarewaju did not receive clearance for Saturday's fight. Before his bout with Mbanugu, Olarewaju had an official record of 23 fights with 13 victories and 8 defeats. Now, Nigerian champions River Supers are intensifying their preparations for the 2025 Basketball Africa League Kalahari Conference, with key new additions set to bolster the squad ahead of their campaign in Rabat, Morocco. The Nigerian champions played a warm-up friendly against a grassroots team in Lagos today as part of their final tune-up before departing for North Africa. The match provided an opportunity for the coach to assess the team's form and integrate fresh signings, including South Sudanese forward Madut Akech and American forward Raphael Putney, who both promised to make significant impacts. Now, the Nigerian Football Federation has released the fixtures for the round of 32 in the ongoing President Federation Cup. In the standout game, three-time champions Heartland of Owerri will face six-time champions Rangers in an Eastern showdown built for Oka. Elsewhere, eight-time champions, Nigerian champions Enyimba will take on El Kanemi Warriors in Buari, Abuja on the 2nd of April at 4 p.m. Another intriguing contest will see Sunshine Stars battle Plateau United in an all-MPFL clash in Ayingba, while all eyes will be in Benin City when Academy side Beyond Limits face former Nigerian champions Rivers United. Meanwhile, Warri Wolves have automatically advanced to the round of 16 after their would-be opponents, Shooting Stars, were expelled from the tournament for listing ineligible players. To the international scene now, Norwegian athletics coach Geert Ingebrigtsen on Monday denied physically abusing his track star son and daughter, telling a court that he had been an overtly protective father who had tried to help his ambitious children. Geert Ingebrigtsen has pleaded not guilty to charges of physically abusing his double Olympic champion Jakob Ingebrigtsen and Ingrid Ingebrigtsen, a promising athlete who gave up competitive running at the age of 15 in 2022. The 59-year-old now faces up to 6 years in prison if he's convicted, with the trial due to run until May the 16th in Stadnes, Norway. He addressed the court in his own defense, saying he had sought to protect all 7 of his children, 2 of which are Olympic, 2 of whom also became quite successful athletes as well. His son, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, who won the 5,000 meters gold at the Paris Games and the 1,500 meters in Tokyo last week, described a childhood marked by fear and manipulation when he took the witness stand, describing several incidents of violence. And that's all we have on Sports Tonight. It's back to you, Felicity.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
One, two, three, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Some dandies here with the latest entertainment stories. Clarity of Mind, what a name for an album.
I guess, you know what, when musicians are creative, we just let them run with it.
True.
I'm excited about Omale's project dropping soon, and a lot of fans are feeling the same way. I'll tell you why after this quick break.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
In entertainment, finally, after keeping fans on edge, Omale is back with a new album, Clarity of Mind, and this one is personal. Now, the journey to this project, Clarity of Mind, has been anything but smooth. Why the delay? Well, recall that the young star had earlier revealed the original concept for his album was stolen, a setback that deeply affected him. Now, in a candid moment, the one-time BET Award winner shared his frustration, the industry drama that kept him from dropping the project sooner, and the challenges of staying innovative in a fast-paced music scene. On the bright side, it seems everyone's excited. The comment section everywhere. Now, since his breakout in 2020 with Get Laid, Omale has delivered multiple chart-topping records and sold out tours overseas. His debut EP had songs like Bad Influence and Lolo, and his last album, Boy Alone, featured in 2022, of course, was a global success, raking up millions in numbers, including the multi-platinum hits that was Attention with Justin Bieber. That one, of course, received critical acclaim. Now, his last year's hit, Moving, might be a little taste of what we're expecting from this project, but fans never know. We do have to wait, but with Afrobeats thriving on the global stage, Clarity of Mind could mark a turning point for Omale's career. I'm personally expecting like some soul, a few surprise collaborations, and he's a young star doing it, so I don't know. When I see these Afrobeat stars doing it at such a young age, I'm like, things have changed. Our parents are more accepting. It seems like people are more dogged about these dreams. I'm excited to see it happen.
I'm also excited. He comes out with hits all the time.
He does. Hopefully we don't call it Afro depression anymore.
No, we wouldn't. I certainly hope not.
Let's move from that one to something else. Rapper Sean Kingston and his mother, Janice Turner, have been found guilty on all counts of wire fraud in a federal case involving $1 million luxury scam. Now, the charges stem from a scheme to defraud sellers of high-end jewelry, specialty vehicles, and other luxury goods. Prosecutors described Kingston and Turner, his mother, as masters of deception and fraud, citing text messages where Kingston instructed his mother to make a fake receipt to cover up their fraudulent transactions. After the jury's swift 3-hour deliberation, Turner was taken into custody while Kingston remained under house arrest with a $200,000 bail posted by his sister. Now, Kingston, best known for hits like Beautiful Girls and Eeny Meeny with Justin Bieber, was arrested in May after a SWAT raid at his Florida home. Now, despite the legal battle, Kingston downplayed the situation on Instagram, insisting that he and his mother were good. With sentencing set for July the 11th, both Kingston and Turner, his mother, face up to 20 years in prison. This one is interesting. I mean, as a kid, I remember in secondary school listening to, Sean Kingston, You're Way Too Beautiful. And now I'm hearing, you mean the music didn't pay or he just ventured into fraud?
No, there's a cost to everything, good or bad, I don't know what he wants really, but maintaining a certain lifestyle when the income is not coming, sometimes you overreach yourself. I guess this is a clear case of that.
People have asked the question, celebrities and their responsibility, especially to the younger generation. We do hope that those watching, of course, know what to do better. But that's the biggest stories in entertainment. I'm Sam Dandy.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
That's all the news tonight. But before we go, a quick recap of our top stories. Governor Monday Okpeholo on condolence visit to Kano State as Chief of Defense Staff launches manhunt for killers of travelers in Edo State. One person has been killed in Abuja community following attack by suspected herdsmen. We also brought you news that French far-right leader Marine Le Pen has been convicted for embezzlement, barred from running for public office for 5 years. Always a good thing to hear from you. Please send us your eyewitness report to the number showing now on your screen. You can follow us on all social media platforms at News Central TV, or you could choose to watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Thank you as always for your kind attention. Have a good night rest.